Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to do the back of the neck and around the ears and keep it clean. This is the first thing that drives people crazy. I know a lot of you guys out there are going to be trying to do this to yourselves. Trust me, it's a lot harder than you think it is. Around the ears, you might be able to get it, but on the neck, it's a lot harder than you think. So just get somebody else to do it for you. So easy when somebody else can just sit there, look at it, and do it. So first thing that you will need is a comb. It doesn't really matter what kind of comb it is, just as long as you can, comb. Make sure you are wearing shoes so that you don't have hair on your feet and your client has a cape or a shirt they don't like. Next thing that you'll need is a clipper. So this is a clipper, this is a trimmer. If you have both, rock on. If you don't have both, you can just do it with a clipper. The only thing that you have to be careful with is that the teeth on a clipper are just a little further apart. And because they're a little further apart, sometimes you can pinch the skin a little bit. So going right in on somebody's neck or around ears and stuff like that, you just have to be a little careful. Don't press into it. You just kind of skim it. And it'll come with guards, and they'll have numbers on them like 1, 2, 0.5, 3, 4. Those will come in super, super handy. They're just going to make it so that you can blend a little easier. Now, the other thing that sometimes comes in kits are shears. They're a little different than what these are usually, but we might not even need them. They just provide a little bit more control around ears if you're not comfortable with your clippers yet. Okay, so the hair doesn't have to be wet. I've only wet mine down so that you can get rid of any kind of dents and stuff in the hair. When you take your clippers on the hair, you're probably going to want it to be more dry than wet. If it's a little damp, it's not going to kill your clippers. It's a little easier to work with, a little easier to cut if it's drier. So I'm going to explain one quick thing first with these blades. So this is a blade here, and there's another blade underneath. Okay, you can see the two right there. Boom, boom, 2 blades. And they kind of go like this together, and they cut hair. I know that seems really stupid, but they're really sharp. So now, I'm going to move this lever and show you something. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so you can see that. It's moving the blade down and up, or the bottom blade down and up, right? That is 0. This is 0.5. So I'm moving this lever all the way up and then all the way down. Okay. This is a 0. This is what we call a 0.5. I'm going to move my blade to a 0. Closed. Closed, closed. Open, open. Closed. Open. Okay, so I'm going to take the 0 and go all the way across. Even this suck out a little. Now what you're going to start doing is making steps. So we're going to grab the one guard. Ooh, extreme close up. Grabbing the one guard. It says 1 on it. It's also 1/8 of an inch or 3 millimeters. Whatever your guard says, okay? I'm going to pop that on there. The blade is closed right now at a 0 with a 1 guard on it. And what you're going to start doing is making steps, okay? So we're going to take it about, I don't know, 1/2 inch from this line that we've already made. We're going to make that up. Taking the 1 and basically making another line. Hopefully that's easier to see. You can see a bit of a line right there. This hair is already really short, so you can't see it as much, but there's definitely a line. And so because we're here already, we have the 1, and there's barely even a line there, even a shadow. We're going to open up that blade. This still has the 1 on it. We're going to open up the blade. Okay, so it's at a 1/2 blade now with a 1 guard on it. So this is technically a 1.5. And then we're going to take this line out of here. Okay, all you do is just stick it in there and kind of flick it out a little bit, okay? Nice and slow, flicking it out every time. Flick, flick, flick along that whole line. So now there's no shadow there, and the only line that you have to worry about is this obvious line. Now, to get rid of this line, I'm taking off my number 1 guard. I'm moving the blade all the way out, so 0.5. And then we're going to take it about 1/4 of an inch above that line that we just created with the 0. Okay, so got my 0.5. And we're just going to do the same thing by flicking that out, but only going about 1/4 of an inch up this time. With the one we took at 1/2 an inch. Now you can see just a little bit of a line here, and then a line up here now. Now, we had just taken the 0.5 down here, so I'm going to take these and move the lever in between, because you can go all the way closed and all the way open, right? You can actually go halfway in between those as well. So we're going to do that to get this lower line right out of there. And you remember the whole time you're doing this, you're flicking it out a little bit. Don't go fast with that flicking either. Just do it slowly. You don't need to be flicking the whole time. It's not, you're just going to end up taking it too high or gouging into it or hitting your person in the head. So just go slow. There's no rush. You're not in a rush. Okay, so now if you can remember, this is a number 1 at the very bottom that we did a while ago before we even did any of this other stuff. So to get rid of this line, you take your 0.5 on your clippers. If you have a 0.5 guard, use a 0.5 guard. That would be a really good decision to do right now. But if you don't have a 0.5 guard, just use the 0.5 that we create on this, okay? And then you want to take the corner of your clippers and put them at the very bottom of that and just flick it out. Like we've been flicking this whole time, but just do it nice and slow. Because what you're doing is you're creating an angle on that head, and it's a tapered angle with the straightness of this blade, okay? Just like this. So you want to anchor this part and float this just a little further away from the head. I just want to try and kind of show you guys what I mean about anchoring this corner. Ooh, this is hard. And then keeping that off the head. See how this tip is off of the head? We're not flattening this out. It's out like this. So you anchor this corner and then flick it like that. So now that we've done the back and you have a perfect taper, I don't know why I have an accent now. We're going to do the sideburns. I may have painted my customer's face already. Okay. I like painting. So. Okay, and now you can see too, this is why I wet the hair down sometimes, because it just is falling in the way and I don't want to cut this stuff. This is a terrible haircut. We're just focusing on the sides right now, so just ignore the terrible haircut that I got going on here. Oh, this is where you ask them how the day is going, you know, is work going well? Just kidding. None of us are working. We're doing this. Just ask them how their snacks were earlier. Yeah, you're just sweating just a little bit. Okay, back to business. Now, we do the same thing on the sideburns, unless they really like sideburns. But you get to decide. That's the joy. That's the joy of you cutting their hair at home now. You're deciding. Just get it. Give them what they want. Okay, so 0. Let's go down here. You can see it better. Closing that right up. Okay. We're just going to do a little bit here. And just remember to flick just a little bit right where that stops so that you don't have a really strong line there. It makes it easier to fade out after, okay? So the flicking is important. Just don't flick too hard, okay? Just don't hurt yourselves, okay? Okay, so I've made the 0, and now I'm going to grab my number 1 guard. Cut the number 1, the blade is closed. Going in there about 1/2 inch up, okay? And flicking at the end. Now, so we already have this going, push it out. Go right to that line and flick out what you just made, okay? Beautiful. Take the guard off. Your blade is already out to a 0.5 now. So just take it up 1/4 of an inch, flickety flickety, and then the 1/2 of the 1/2 at the very bottom where the 0 ended. I'm doing the corner anchor. Shabam. Okay, now that we've done the taper on the sideburn and in the back, I'm going to show you how to clean up around their ears and around their face. Depending on how long the person's hair is, everything will be a little different. So I'm going to do it as if his hair is the length it is right now. So it's pretty short, but it's really messy around his ears. Like around here, you can kind of see. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's not clean at all. Now, the crappy thing about having a mannequin and a real ear is that these are really just not very bendy. So we're going to work with what we got, though, okay? We're going to start at the beginning, or the front of their ear, and just kind of follow that around to the very top of their ear, okay? Perfect. Now, you're going to take it from behind the ear and go all the way up. You're going to pull on their ear, and then just go from the back side all the way up, just using the corner. And clean all that up for them. Because that's probably one of the most annoying parts of having your hair grow is around your ear, because it's touching your ear. It's super annoying. Now, some people's hair grows really close to the back side of their ears. Just be really careful when you're doing that, especially with the clippers. Because it's really thin skin back there and you don't want to pinch them with these. Okay, so this side's just a little bit janky, so I'm going to go through this really quick. I'll explain a little bit of what I'm doing, but this time on this side you guys can just watch. 0. Flicky, flicky, flick. Grab the 1. Flick, flick, flick. Taking this one up just a little higher because it's a little weird. All the way out. Doing that. Okay. And we're all the way out. 0.5. And half of the half, the very bottom. Anchor in the corner. A blendy, blendy, blendy. Okay, so this one's pretty much cleaned up already. See this bald spot? Ah, it's so annoying to me, but it's okay. This isn't my mannequin, okay? I'm blaming someone else. But because I took that so high up here, this is pretty much already cleaned up. So we don't really have to do this front part. We're taking the 0 along the back and cleaning up this guy. So along the edges, you're going to want to take your 0.5 if their hair is not already, because this is a mannequin, so the edges are already like clean. But on a human, they're not. So you take your 0.5 and just turn them on and take the corner of this all the way along their hairline. Okay? This will give it more of a soft look to it, not a defined line. If they want defined line, grab your trimmers if you got them and just draw in a really close line. I was going to show you guys just a little bit of your scissor work. If their hair is a little longer, all you want to make sure that you do is when you're creating these lines in here is combing the hair and then taking one of the blades and anchoring it on the face. Don't press too hard or else you're going to poke them, and just snipping away really slowly. Make sure you close your blade all the way or else you're just going to pull on their hair. And you can do that for all around their ear and here. And then remember to hold their ear back, and you can go all the way up here, holding their ear. You can't see because my finger's there, but you just hold their ear back and go all the way around. Easy as pie. Now remember, this is just a start to cleaning up their hairlines around their ears and on the back of their neck. This is by no means a full haircut. This is just cleaning up the ears and the neck. This is what drives people crazy, and we charge $10 for this. It's called a lineup. So they come in, it's been like a week or two since their last haircut, and they just need the back of their neck cleaned up, and so that their hair is not touching their ears. It drives guys crazy usually. So this is what we do, is just a cleanup. It's called a lineup. Super easy to do. Keeps it tapered and clean and fresh looking until your next haircut. So that's a start anyways. Hopefully this helps you guys. If you have any questions at all, just comment below or message me on Instagram. There's a few different haircuts that I have planned to do. One of them is going up to a part line. It's on this one, but it's not a very good haircut. But it is disconnected like that. So that means taking up to a buzz and then putting in a part line, and then this stuff is really long and then blended on this side. That's one of them because there's a lot of my clients that have that haircut and they've requested that a few times now. So that's probably one of the first ones that I'm going to do after this. And then the other ones are probably just going to be blended cuts. If you have any requests, please just comment below. It'll make my life a lot easier, or say something on my Instagram, and we'll get around to it. The other thing I do want to mention is make sure that you guys clean your tools afterwards, your scissors, your combs, and your clippers. Just clean this out with a toothbrush, get all the hair out of there, or a canister of air, and try and get all of that the hair and all the old oil out of there. If you have oil, it would have came with your clippers at one point. Just turn on your clippers and put it onto one of the corners, let it go down, and then put it on the other corner and let it go down. Okay, done, cleaned, oiled, perfect. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, thanks for coming this far. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, or whatever. What did I say? Subscribe, like, comment. I don't know. Just do something. Do something. All right. Until next time. Okay, the last time I did this, I had all the... I'm just going to grab it. Oh my God.
Every girl in 2020 be like, oh, them dead ends bitch. Every girl at home be like, get them bang dead ends. Yeah, get that. Shit, yeah.
Get the right angles. Oh, how come my hair looks like hay? And his looks so good.